Kingsley wrote a story entitled Welcome to Holland, and she writes, I am often asked to describe the experience of raising a child with disabilities, to help people who have not shared the experience to imagine how it feels. It's like this. When you're going to have a baby, it's like planning a fabulous vacation trip to Italy. You buy a bunch of guidebooks and make your wonderful plans, the Colosseum, Michelangelo's, David, the gondolas in Venice. You learn some handy Italian phrases. It's all very exciting. And months of eager anticipation, the day finally arrives, you pack your bags and off you go. Several hours later, the plane lands. The flight attendant comes in and says, Welcome to Holland. Holland, you say? Excuse me? What do you mean, Holland? I signed up for Italy. All my life I've dreamed of going to Italy. But there's been a change in the flight plan. They've landed in Holland. There you must stay. So you must go out and buy new guidebooks, and you must learn a whole new language, and you meet a whole new group of people you would never have met in Italy. The most important thing is that they haven't taken you to a horrible, disgusting, filthy place. It's just a different place. It's slower paced than Italy, less flashy. But after you've been there for a while and catch your breath, you look around and you begin to notice that Holland has windmills, and Holland has tulips, and Holland even had Rembrandts. But everyone you know is busy coming and going from Italy, and they're bragging about what a wonderful time they had there, and for the rest of your life you will say, yes, that's where I was supposed to go, that's what I had planned. The pain of that loss will never, ever go away, because it is a very significant loss. But if you spend your life mourning the fact that you didn't get to Italy, you may never be free to enjoy the very special, the very lovely things about Holland. How many of us have ended up in Holland instead of Italy? How many times has life put us in positions we never anticipated? In some ways, it feels like we have been in Holland since March of 2020, with the flight to Italy canceled indefinitely, or so it seems that way. The detours we have been on have certainly caused us to encounter people and places differently. We are changed because we have traveled a different way. In some small way, we might be able to empathize with Mary and how she felt. She was planning something entirely different, and she too ends up in Holland. To be young and pregnant around the age of 14 was not certainly uncommon in that time, but a very scary prospect for being unwed. Mary has just received extraordinary news from the angel Gabriel. And now she does what anyone receiving an emotionally complex message, she seeks refuge. She seeks sanctuary. She seeks a safe place to digest the news she just received and its impact. Mary retreats to Elizabeth and Zechariah's home, and while there, Elizabeth's pending birth becomes evident as the child leaps in her womb to pay homage to the one Mary carries. In this meeting between the most unlikely of characters, to make such a pronouncement, we see a vision of sanctuary between these two women and know that God's love dwells freely and abundantly. Pastor Paul Simpson Duke writes, quote, that the Spirit chooses whom it will be voices and agents of the divine purpose, and the chosen will often be those who have little social status or economic power. In the church and beyond, anyone can be at the forefront of the Spirit's work, and it is the job of the rest of us to discern, to listen, and gratefully to follow their lead. End quote. What does sanctuary look like for you? Who do you talk to when complex issues arise? Where do you retreat to find wholeness? In her song entitled Sanctuary, Carrie Newcomer sings the lyrics, quote, will you be my refuge, my haven in the storm? Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's all but gone? Will you remember and bring me sprigs of rosemary? Be my sanctuary till I carry on, carry on, carry on. End quote. Our sanctuaries are safe, uplifting, welcoming, comforting, and filled with love. For me, they include memories of my mother's kitchen, being outside around water and woods and just fresh air and the hugs of loved ones. What would your list include? If you were to close your eyes, what images of sanctuary come to your mind? In her commentary on this text, Elder Vilmarie Cintron Ellery writes, quote, "For 3 months, that home and the arms that received Mary became her safe haven. Elizabeth's welcome, blessing, and care were safe space, just what she needed as she prepared for the important call ahead. Mary would give birth to Jesus and would educate him in his formative years. The world saw the imprint of this young woman in the life and teachings of her son, Jesus. Mary herself was sanctuary and Jesus' first home. Sanctuary is not only a place, it is also the people who say, 'Here I am,' striving to create and to become a safe place for others. Will we be a refuge, someone's haven to the storm, sanctuary? In the spirit of these two holy women, Mary and Elizabeth, may we offer ourselves as sanctuary for anyone in need of one, glorifying with our actions the one whose love, freely given, is our sanctuary, our home." End quote. Holland has a lot to offer if we let it. Mary's story has a lot to offer if we let it. A story that is shared year after year, generation to generation, in every Advent and Christmas season to give hope, peace, joy, and love to people and nations who forget that our foremothers in faith faced a great deal, faced death and famine, faced war and brutality, faced destruction and refugee status, and faced a God that provided sanctuary and expressed love freely and abundantly. Perhaps traveling to Holland isn't so bad.